Hello, thank you for tuning into this week's section of reads. This should be on the YouTube channel James 13 Wicca in case you're seeing it somewhere else. The dice and decks I'm using are listed below. Other than that, if you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James the number 4, astral@gmail.com. If you're interested in the donation information, that's below, same email. Thanks again for watching. Let's get into your choice. Hello, Sagittarius. Thank you very much for tuning into this week's read. These readings are valid for whenever you come to them. That being said, what do we have for Sagittarius? Communication is high. A lot of communicating, a lot of talking, a lot of talking. Is that working? Is that working? A lot of communicating. Thing is, if Sag is a doer, some communication, yeah, that's good. If it's just constantly communicating, is somebody purposely doing that? What is the reason behind all this communication? Like, what is the real purpose behind it? A lot of communication to stop things. Oh. Yeah, because I do see you feeling like you're blocked, but also trying to do what you need to do to make the situation work. I don't feel like you really want to be communicating to this level. It's over-communication. Way over-communication. This is like somebody telling me, you know, make sure everybody eats lunch, and then going through everything that's in the fridge, everything that's in the pantry, you know, what type of, like, oh, we got this air fryer there, and we got this other type of thing over here, and we got the microwave there, and there's condiments over there, and you can get some extra condiments here. It's kind of, it's over communication. It's kind of like, especially if it's like a sibling or something, like, okay, I know what your kitchen looks like, I'll make it work. I don't need you to tell me every little thing that's there. When I show up, I'll make it work. Like, it's fine. like, you know, the tap always has water, so if there's no milk, we'll do water. You know, it's fine. Everybody will be okay. There's over communication. It's like, there's so much going on here. There's a lot of over communication. But the thing is, when I get this energy for Sag, it's kind of like, well, I'm not looking to upset people, so I'm trying to roll with it. I'm trying to go with it, but it is like, it's keeping me from doing anything. We're talking so much about it. Like, I could just go and do it. Like literally, if I was worried, I could just go over to your house, look through what's there, and just make up my own mind what we're going to do for tomorrow for lunch. I don't think we need to have this over communication, but there's something about, it's trying to block something. It's almost like they want you to walk away or something like that. Is that why are we over communicating? Because they don't have control and they want it. They're not happy about what's going on. They're not happy. They're feeling like they have to deal with what's going on here. That dice had to go halfway across the world, apparently. What's working out is supposed to happen. They don't like it. They're not happy with it. They're feeling like they have to do this. It's almost like they don't want you doing this for them, but they have no other choice, because you'll actually get it done. You won't do it their way, though, but you're the person who will actually make sure it gets done. So it's kind of like, either it doesn't get done at all, or you do it. Sag does it. The thing is, you're not going to do it their way, and that's what they don't like. They're trying to control you, is what I think a part of it is. That's not going to really work. It's not really going to work out that way. The Hierophant out of balance, and then the Page of Fire reversed. Be careful about what you agree to. I feel like this is the first heads up. Be careful of what you agree to. Try to keep it as loose as possible. That's where Sag excels. All right, there's food. All right, there's going to be 5 kids. I'll make it happen. We'll be there. I'll take care of it. Well, make sure this one gets this, and make sure this one gets that. Make sure this one only gets 2 of these, and make sure this one gets that. And I promise this one, that one. No. Kind of going, listen. We're not going to have time for all that stuff. If there's allergies, write down the allergies, text them to me. If there's no allergies, they're probably going to all get the same thing. We're just going to make it work. We're not going to go crazy with this. I'm not a short order cook. We're not going to do that version. It's kind of like, listen, I know you might have promised things. You're just going to have to make good on those promises at a different time. I'm not playing that game. Allergies, beyond that, I'll make sure they're there for lunch. I make sure they get fed for lunch, and that's that. That's what we're doing. Try to keep it as loose as you could. It's an analogy. I feel like obviously you know that. But keep it loose. Try to keep it as loose. It's not like, it may sound difficult the way I'm putting it forward. I'm not trying to make it difficult, but it's kind of like, listen, you may have promised things. You can't make promises for me. I can't make good on your promises. You have to make good on your own promises later. I'm going to get them there. Unless there's allergies, give me the allergies. Text me the allergies. Other than that, we're all probably going to eat the same thing, and we'll just handle it the way I handle it. That'll be that. Try to keep it loose. Try to keep it loose. I feel like Sag really is able to do a lot within those loose borders if we can do that. I know I'm going to be pushing my luck with what I'm about to say, so I'm just going to verify this. I'm really pushing my luck here. I can already feel it. Okay, you guys got to do what you think is right. Readings are for entertainment purposes only. If you don't confirm or you don't agree, or you try to like space out your responses, you could probably get away with a lot more that way. I'm not saying you should or shouldn't anything. I'm saying you got to live your own life. You decide what you think is right, because I feel like I'm really pushing my luck with this one. Don't agree to anything, or if you just kind of like just don't respond to certain things, that's like, I didn't agree to that. I didn't agree to that. There's a random energy here, and there's this, if you cannot get held down, if you don't allow them to control you, and you just kind of play it politically how you feel is right, so that they don't get that control over you. I cringe that I'm about to say this too. Sometimes it's easier to beg for forgiveness than to ask for permission. I feel like that's really toxic. I can't believe I'm saying it. But, sometimes you got to work around people who it's actually them who has the toxic behavior where they're trying to control you. So, I don't know. I just feel like this is one of those examples in life where it depends how you're using the situation. It depends how you're interacting with the situation, how it needs to play out. I just feel like I'm really pushing my luck with this. It just really does feel like you got to decide what you feel is right, but it's like keeping a distance between you and whoever this is, not allowing them to communicate with you too much, keeps the parameters a little bit loose. I didn't agree to that, or I didn't see that, or I didn't have a chance to respond to that, and since I didn't, I couldn't agree to it. So I had to do what I felt was right in the moment, and that's how we did it. Sag is usually an energy that likes to get along anyway, so that might be its own situation. It might be easier to get along if I just keep a distance from this information or this person. I don't know. Take it with a grain of salt. If it's too restrictive, it's gonna just damage the situation as a whole anyway. It's not gonna prosper the way it needs to, and I'm kind of getting that might be kind of the point from this other energy, because if they can limit you so much that you can't prosper, they can make you look like you were incompetent. That may be part of this. This may be like one of those moments. Take it with a grain of salt. If they can over restrict you, you can't prosper. And if you can't prosper, it looks like you were the wrong person for the job. And they can kind of manipulate that their own way. That's not right. That's a weird manipulation going on there. Take it with a grain of salt. Readings are for entertainment purposes only. Because I get that that's what's going on here. You're going to try to do what's going on. You're going to try to do your best with it. But it's almost like you might be stuck with a moment where it's kind of like, if I stick with the rules and I stick with the parameters that were already set, this is not going to make it. It's kind of like if this is a 12-year-old person, male, female, whatever, it doesn't matter, 12-year-old person, and you need to drive the kids somewhere, a 12-year-old person can't do that. But if you step outside the situation kind of going, well, I got the adult to help me, The adult can drive me. I'm not supposed to bring adults into this situation, but I did. The adult can drive me, so I did what I had to do. That's a weird analogy. I don't know if that was the best way to do that. But it's kind of like saying, you know, I don't know. It just seems like it's kind of like we're not allowed to leave this room. We have to stay in this room or we can't. You know, part of this is you have to stay in this one room. Everybody has to stay in this room. Well, the bathroom's over there, so either I let them go to the bathroom or I have them just wet themselves. Like, that's not right. I don't know. I just feel like it's one of those things where if I stay within the parameters, we're going to have a failure. If I step outside of it, it's kind of like, well, they're not going to like me, but which is worse? The person setting the boundaries isn't going to like me, or the situation prospering? Like, is it more important for the situation to prosper, or is it more important for the person who set the boundaries to like me? Because if we go by the boundaries, we're going to fail. If we step outside the boundaries, we're going to succeed. The person who set those boundaries is going to complain, but I'd rather deal with that than with failure. Am I making it make sense? I hope I am. Because it's kind of like, you know what? Somebody's going to be unhappy one way or another. If it's the person setting the boundaries, maybe that's for the best. If they're the ones unhappy, maybe that's for the best because those boundaries were unreasonable. I think that's what we're dealing with, is unreasonable boundaries, and realizing that the boundaries were unreasonable and stepping outside of them and moving forward with the situation based on what's actually right for the situation. There's more here. Is this person with the boundaries they're going to be a problem either way. They're going to be a problem either way. It's just setting it up so that in the long run you can look at the situation and go, I did something that helped the situation flourish. This person is either going to be unhappy with you because you listened to their boundaries and you failed because you did, and they're going to make that your fault, or they're going to be unhappy with you because you didn't stick with their boundaries and they're going to try to prove that you should have, but then it's going to be fairly easy for you to say, well, if I did stick with that boundary, this is what would have happened. That would have been a failure. It's just realizing that, like, there's going to be some type of fallout. Go with your passion. Go with what you know is right. You'll be able to make it through. You'll be all right in the long run. It's just kind of like going with the version that's actually going to serve you in the long run. You got the King of Pentacles and the Queen of Cups going on here. I do feel like there's another party or maybe a couple people looking at the situation after the fact. And the King of Pentacles will look at the boundaries and go, those boundaries that didn't make sense. And the Queen of Cups will actually also work with you on that, going, you did what was best for the situation. The situation succeeded because of what you did. That was the right thing to do. This does feel like this raced through. So you might not have a long time to really decide what you need to do. I don't think that's going to be a bad thing for Sag. Sag tends to be a move, go, go, move, go, go. So it may be that may be up your alley anyway. So I don't think that's going to be a problem either way. It's just having it in the back of your head, doing what's best for the situation versus like holding to rules that don't really make sense. Take it with a grain of salt. You got to do what you think is right. All right. I'm going to shut this down here. Hope that helps. Thank you very much for watching. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James the number 4, astral@gmail.com. If you're interested in the donation information, that's below, same email. Thanks again for watching. Have a great day.